Good morning, everyone. This is Ajay Kumar, Assistant Professor of English from the Department of Science and Humanities, Sri Muthukumaran Institute of Technology. Today, we are going to learn about a very significant topic of our course, English Essentials-1. The course objectives are to equip students with skills to write clear, coherent, and grammatically correct texts for various purposes. Also, to strengthen the ability to comprehend, interpret, and analyze written English across diverse contexts. Today we are going to be focusing on Unit 4 of this course called Drafting Skills. There are many subunits such as sentence formation, word substitution, keywords development, writing paragraphs, writing emails and letters. There are also activities such as picture and poster interpretation, formal and informal letters as well as official emails. In this lecture, we are going to be focusing on a very important and very practical topic, which is letter writing, focusing on both formal as well as informal letter. Now, even as engineering students, you would know that writing a letter is not just an exam topic. You'll use it for official communication, requests, complaints, and professional correspondence throughout your academic and professional life. So let us begin with the basics. Letter writing is a written form of communication used to convey messages, requests, complaints, information, invitations, or even personal feelings in some contexts. Unlike casual chatting or texting, letters follow a clear purpose and structure. Broadly, letters are divided into two types. First, formal letters, and second, informal letters. We'll look at each type in detail along with their format, tone, and examples. Let us first understand formal letters. A formal letter is written for official or professional purposes. It follows a strict format, uses polite and formal language, and is written to people in authority or organizations. The key thing to remember here is that formal letters are about clarity, respect, and purpose. No emotional language and no casual expressions. Now, where are formal letters used? Formal letters are written to government offices, to school or college authorities, to companies, to editors of newspapers, to principals or heads of departments. They're commonly used to lodge complaints, to make requests like transferring certificates or getting a bona fide certificate or getting leaves approved. It is also used to give suggestion or feedback on certain phenomena. So whenever the communication is official, professional or authority based, we use a formal letter. Now let us look at the characteristics of a formal letter. Let us now look at the characteristics such as formal tone. There should be no casual or emotional language. The language should be polite, respectful, and use direct sentences. Second, it should have a clear purpose. Your message must be exact, it must be well organized, and it must be easy to understand. Now remember that official readers don't have time for unnecessary details, so directly get to the point. Now the third and most important thing is to follow the correct structure or format for a formal letter. As you can see on the slide, there are some things you have to mention such as from address, to address, the date, the subject line, a salutation which is respected ma'am or sir, and have a body which would usually consist of around 3 paragraphs including introduction, content and summary about the reason why you're writing this letter and asking politely for a reply. Then you have to thank and share your regards at the end with a name or a signature. Now, informal letters, on the other hand, are written to friends, family members, or close acquaintances. The tone here is friendly and relaxed, and the language can be personal and casual. Unlike formal letters, informal letters allow you to express feelings very freely. Now, why are informal letters used? Informal letters are used to share news, to congratulate, to invite, to express feelings, to give advice, or to describe experiences or trips. So these letters reflect personal relationships, not official authority. Now, what are the characteristics of an informal letter in contrast to the characteristics of a formal letter? So the first is the tone is always friendly. It is warm, it is casual, and it is natural. It is similar to a spoken conversation. Second, you can include personal content such as feelings, experiences, your personal stories, or your opinions and suggestions. Third, the structure, unlike the formal letter, is very flexible. It is not very strict, but the ideas should still be organized to make sense to the other person. Fourth, you have creative freedom. You can use exclamation marks, you can show emotions, you can be expressive. Now, even though an informal letter is very free, it still follows a basic format. It has a from address, it has date, it has a salutation which is usually dear, it has a body again consisting of generally 3 paragraphs including the introduction, the main content and the summary of the content, then as well as a conclusion, a thank you and then a regards. Additionally, it also has an address on the envelope which is addressed to the receiver. Now there are a few questions here which you can use to practice. We'll look at a few of them later, but let's look at the kind of questions that might be asked in an exam or would be useful in your real life, such as spreading awareness regarding disposal of protective masks by writing a letter to the editor of a popular newspaper, to write a letter to your friend who has just met with an accident, informing him about his speedy recovery, writing a formal letter to an editor sharing your concern about bad street lights in your area, writing a letter complaining about the slow internet service in your college, and writing an informal letter to your friend residing abroad telling them about your country's cultural heritage. Now you can write this on your own and practice, but we'll also look at a couple of examples, one formal example and one informal example. So this is an example of the formal letter. It was question number 1. So here, as you can see, there's a from address, there is the date, there is the to address, and there is subject, which is an appeal to raise concern about the improper disposal of protective masks. Now there's a salutation, sir, madam, and then you begin the body of the letter with 3 paragraphs, such as, let me read it out for your reference. With great respect and faith in the columns of your newspaper, I, ABC, a resident of Airport Road, am writing to you. I want to inform you that face masks, which are widely used for safety against COVID-19, are being discarded in inappropriate locations by a segment of the population. Face masks are being worn by a growing number of individuals to be safe from the disease, but disposing them away anywhere is not acceptable, as it can cause many health-related as well as environmental issues. People dump these masks carelessly in places like roadsides, pavements, gardens, etc. The elastic bands on these can pose death threat for the animals who mindlessly chew them. Also, these are a hub of germs and microbes and can spread infections. Proper disposal of face masks is crucial for the prevention of the spread of diseases. I would like to request the residents through the columns of your prestigious publication to stop careless discarding of their used masks. The government agencies should sensitize people regarding this issue. Thank you in anticipation. Yours sincerely, ABC. Now similarly, we'll look at the example of an informal letter. What you have to note here is how different is an informal letter in format and tone and structure than a formal letter. Here there is again the from address, but there is no to address. Instead, the to address is below as part of the address on the envelope. Plus there is no subject line. It directly starts with the salutation, which is dear instead of respected. It has name of the person. Here the example is ABC. So I hope this letter finds you in the best of spirits. When I visited last week, you seemed a little bit depressed. Come on, man, we can think of this as a new beginning. Everything is going to be fine very soon. I even talked to your doctor this morning and he told me that you are out of danger now. You will have to remain in the hospital for a few more days, but that is not something you should be concerned about. Your family and your friends are there for you. Don't forget that life is a mixture of joys and sorrows. By the way, all of us have decided to celebrate your recovery as soon as you come home. You will be throwing a party the day you come back home from the hospital. Hope to see you soon. My parents and my younger sister have sent you lots of love and wishes. Wish you a speedy recovery. Yours truly, XSS, and then the address on the envelope. So as you could see, there are clear differences as well as similarities between formal letters and informal letters. The formal letters had a proper address, it had a clear subject line, it had a polite introduction, and it had, most importantly, a logical explanation of the problem. On the other hand, the informal letter had a friendly opening, it had an emotional and encouraging language, and it had personal references and a warm closing. There is no rigid format, but the ideas flow naturally. So to conclude, formal letters are official, structured, and polite. On the other hand, informal letters are personal, friendly, and expressive. Therefore, if you understand the purpose, choosing the correct tone and the correct format becomes very easy. So thank you, and make sure you practice at least one formal and one informal letter before either writing a letter to someone or for your exams. Thank you.